Good evening, DGBA. This is the Poison Point Season 8 Post-Draft Power Rankings. I am Aggronauts, and today I have with me Mr. Palkia.
Greetings.
Please say hello.
Greetings.
Yes, and we will be going through all the power rankings.
Okay, so starting off with Human 16th, we have Amel, coach of the Montreal Screwpies, and his team consists of Zamazenta Crowned, Hippowdon, Slowking, Megapidgeot, Incineroar, Roserade, Excadrill, Rotom, Tyrantrum, Aromatisse, and finally Glastrier. So I think on first glance of the team, you see with Zamazenta Crown, he has sort of that defensive backbone of Hippowdon and Slowking, so form a nice defensive core. But I think the one reason this team does feature low, and I think is just that offensively he hasn't necessarily built around Zamazenta as well, I'd say.
Yeah, there's a lot of defensiveness going on, as you said, with the Hippo and the Slowking, which is going to be quite annoying for teams to break. But offensively, there's not really too much support. Like, for example, Bulky Waters, you've got Roserade and Rotom there, but I don't think you want to be bringing Rotom that many times to too many games even. And then Roserade, it can do an alright job, but it won't be able to break all the waters like Toxapex, for example.
Yeah. I think as well flying is like I think Rotom, surprisingly enough, is something he'd want to rely on offensively, but when he doesn't want to, because the electric typing is like needed for like breaking water and flying as well. And just another thing is that he's like very ground weak, because his ground was just essentially Megapidgeot and Rotom, so he doesn't really appreciate ground types a lot.
He has to get past the ground types. Yeah,
he has a Powder which you could probably do, which you could take ground type moves quite well, I guess, like on the physical side.
You have to do loads of pivoting around them and then just try and get in a good position. And also another thing to note is the defogging options or the hazard removal options aren't amazing. You need to either bring Spin Drill or defog on your Megapidge or on Rotom.
Yeah.
You can fit it on Rotom if you're bringing it, I guess, but the other two, I think they'd prefer other moves, really, especially if they're going to be offensive.
Yeah, and as we said with Rotom, like if it says that you need the offensive, you need to bring offensive with like Nasty Plot, he may not be able to fit defog on it. So it's just one of those things where he want to fit. Like Raspin, you could probably fit on Excadrill not too badly, because usually you run like 2 moves at best on Drill. And you can usually fit like Rapid Spin and Sword Dance, but like Rotom, you probably may not want to fit defog on it, so it depends on what his team really needs for the matchup.
I also do think Zamazenta would have appreciated a better Wish passer than Aromatisse, because if you do want to run Wish with Zamazenta, you have to bring the Aromatisse in the first place, and I think that whilst it does an okay job most of the time, it can be underwhelming, I guess.
Yeah, it's not the ideal Wish passer you want.
Yeah. Overall, I think you can still do solid with the team. Like it's definitely got its outs. Like Sand is obviously very good. Zamazenta on its own can do stuff, and then you've got Glastrier, which people might not prep for and whatnot. Okay, but anyway, moving on. We will go to the 15th position, which is ASDF and his Sydney Thunderous. He's drafted Mega Aerodactyl, Slowbro, Kyurem, Jirachi, Toxtricity, Porygon 2, Serperior, Gramble, Marowak-Alola, Pangoro, Sandslash, and Kingler. Now, when I first saw this team, I thought it was a bit odd because it's sort of got like Mega Aero, which is really fast, and then the rest of the team is like a Trick Room team, like P2, Marowak, Kingler, even Pangoro. But I just find it really weird. I mean, it obviously works because it can work. ASDF knows what he's doing, but I just think he's mashed together speed with Trick Room, and it's a bit odd on paper.
Yes, it feels like a mashup of threats where, like, I think if you're taking on as a team, it could be annoying because you don't know what he's going to exactly bring, because certain mons can be quite threatening. Like, we have Mega Aero, Kyurem, and Toxtricity is a nice offensive core. Jirachi, which is like very versatile as well. So it is one of those things where like you may have a hard time guessing what he may bring to an extent. So it can depend. I think another weakness as well is his removal isn't ideal, especially with like Mega Aerodactyl. It's more like Mega Aero as a defogger with like Superior and Sand Slash, and obviously you don't really want to fit defog on like Aero because it really wants to run either like free moves or even like Horn as that move store with Root Roost, and then Superior is kind of a mediocre defogger with Sand Slash, which isn't an ideal Rapid Spinner to bring. So
yeah, I don't really see many games with Sand Slash coming.
Yeah.
Like if you want it for like an electric resist, you can do Marowak for that instead.
Yeah,
that would fit better.
And a QM mechanic should be able to handle electric types as well.
Yeah.
And I think as another thing is just especially as mainly as top mons, they don't appreciate knockoff a lot. Or at least he doesn't an idea of knockoff switching because either there's two psychic types or a Violet or a Boots user, which he doesn't really want those knocked off. Like his best bet would be to let Mega Arrow take the knock, but he doesn't really want to take that damage with it or switching.
Yeah, even with rocks up, exactly. Yeah.
So it could just be that could be potentially his game. But I think the main thing this team does go for, as I said, is because it has quite a few threats like offensively on it. It could be one of the teams where you may struggle to prepare for it at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely difficult to prep against because even with like Slowbro, it just teleports in like a threat, like brings in like a banded Pangoro on you. You can't really do much around that apart from sack something off.
Yeah. So
and even the Kingler pick, I think, should be respected as well. It is quite the Pokemon.
It is quite powerful, indeed. I think it's just trying to prep for all these ones. Like they're quite different ways of prepping, and if you prep for the wrong one, it can cost you to an extent.
Yeah.
So I think that's all.
Okay then, let's go to
we go to the next team, and here we have a 14th place BZZ with coach of TCR Sharpedos, and his team consists of Celesteela, Galarian Slowking, Komoro, Mega Gardevoir, Spectre, Alola Persian, Volcanion, Stunfisk, Staraptor, Vikavolt, and Thwackey. And I think the main thing that does stand out, he does have a lot of fast, quite a few fast threats and quite a few special threats with the Mega Guard, Spectre, Volcanion, and Galarian Slowking, but his sort of physical threats are somewhat lacking, with mainly his go-to ones like Komoro and Staraptor having to be his physical breakers. And Komoro really requires setup, and Staraptor mainly is sort of it can break a lot of stuff, but it's just a mediocre one in general. In my opinion, that.
Yeah, there's also I would have liked more knockoff on this team with like just to support just the team in general. You've only got Persian and Thwackey doing your knocking off, and Thwackey won't be coming too much, so that could be quite annoying for the rest of the team. And also in terms of defogging options, you've only got Staraptor and Volcanion you can defog, which isn't ideal. But again, with Boots, you can sort of get away with it. The Pokemon aren't hazard weak anyway.
Yeah, ironically, his defoggers, which are high, and Vikavolt, which are hazard weak.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think with because he's drafted Spectra, which to do well with it, you need to support it. So the best way of doing that is obviously something that can kill Darks and Normals, which I think he does quite well. Gardevoir pressures the Dark types very good, and Komoro can kill both of them. So
yeah,
I think in terms of that side, that's pretty good.
Yeah, Komoro is also a Shadow Ball resist, which pairs well with his Psychics and his Ghosts, and can hopefully relieve the pressure of the Ghost types from Alola Persian as well.
Yeah. I think Celesteela is supported decently well also. Like it can do most things Celesteela wants to do. Like maybe you could have got a better electric resist, so you don't want to be relying on Stunfix too much, and then you've only got Como O really to...
Yeah, there's some electric resist there, it's not too bad to an extent.
Yeah. I also do respect the Thwacky pose. I think the Thwacky pick even. I do like the Thwacky home sprite also with his arms crossed. That's pretty... sending a big message from the monkey there.
Yeah, quite a big message. It does. A couple of the ones are ground weak as well, so it does help his other mons like Glare and Slow King if he needs sort of that something to alleviate some of his ground weaknesses. Well, not ground weak, but mostly
sure.
like help with the Glare and Slow King and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's everything we wanted to mention.
Yeah.
Maybe the other thing, now that I remember, was that more pivoting would have been nice if possible, but between Persian and Staraptor and Vikavolt, you've got a decent amount.
Yeah, and Thwacky as well. And maybe
of course, Thwacky with the U-turn, yeah.
And maybe he could run the Teleport Mega Gardevoir if he's bold enough.
Yeah. Okay then, let's move on to number 13 with Glop and his team Glop is Plop. He's got a Garchomp, Rotom Wash, Aegislash, Deoxys Defense, Silvally, Tangrowth, Sylveon, Talonflame, Mega Glalie, Liepard, Regular Muck, and a Persian. Another interesting team. I like the first 3 picks. They synergize. Actually, the first 4 with Deoxys as well. They synergize quite well with each other. And then he picks the round 5 Silvally, which is somewhat suspect. I know that Glop said he was sniped quite a lot in this draft, which I think made him take it there. But yeah, it's sort of a crutch mon for this team because it has to. Like if the enemy has a ghost type, you don't really want to be bringing Liepard against it, so you're gonna have to bring Silvally Dark or normal quite a lot. And it's kind of pigeonholed into that responsibility a lot of the weeks, I think.
Yeah, I think I guess one thing looking at this team, I think was kind of shows in his lower picks is that a lot of the picks like Deoxys Defense and Silvally had to spend, and Tangrowth had to spend quite a bit of points on, which leads to sort of him trying to fill out those roles of like dark, normal, and poison with like sort of lower point mons, because he didn't have the points to do so. So I think like while like those mons like Deoxys and Silvally are general good mons, I think it's that it does sort of hinder the rest of it. Like he had to go through these mons which he probably ideally doesn't want to bring to all the games, to the games as Liepard offers Ghost Resist. So that he is going to rely on Silvally to sort of fill in the holes with its typing.
Yeah, see, even some weeks might have to come as like a fighting type to help break steals that Garchomp can't deal with, like a Ferrothorn or something like that. Because otherwise, your Mega Glalie pick won't be able to do as much as it could have.
Or he's have to rely on Talonflame, which isn't really a breaker, more of a fast pivot.
Yeah, unless you start setting up with it, it won't be killing too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the Garchomp and the Aegislash together. I think they're defensively and offensively they complement each other quite nicely. They cover quite a lot.
Yeah.
Of teams in general. They will definitely force a lot of preparation.
Yeah, as I said, the first 4 picks are generally solid because you have Garchomp, which can, and let's say AG, which can form a nice defense pair, and then Rotom Wash and for pivoting, and then Deoxys just for hazards, and again to teleport, which is nice just to bring in those first 3 or even the other ones, or like Mega Glalie for example.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like, even though the Muck pick it's not meant to be an amazing Pokemon, I do think for its price, which I think was it 2 points? It does get a decent job done. Like you can definitely bring it to some matchups.
Yeah, you can wall some mons with it.
Yeah, but I think Liepard and the Persian, they I'm not sure how often you can actually bring them. I'm not sure what they add to the
It
draw.
depends. I think like with Persian, like Savali probably does its job better anyway. So it's like, yeah, but
I
Persian's
mean,
a
it fills a speed tier, but
yeah,
I don't think people respect the Persian in any sense.
yeah.
Like you probably don't need to prep for it. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, if you're prepping for Silva, like you're probably prepping for Persian as well with Silvali, because
It will cover it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so in a way.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think that covers this team.
Okay.
So our next team is
Yeah.
Tatar, coach of the German Genesex, and his team consists of Tapu Fini, Larios, Greninja, Mamoswine, Moltres, Nihilego, Escavalier, Chansey, Breloom, and the Mega Sableye. I think the first thing that sort of points out to me is just the first pick of Tapu Fini's. Tapu Fini's a decent one, but I think with some of the mons in his team, it just doesn't sort of fit well. Because the next one after is like a Larios, which isn't the best dragon partner to Tapu Fini because it gets all the negatives from Demise Terrain and doesn't benefit from the positives in the fact that its dragon moves will be nerfed, but it doesn't get that dragon resist back as well as not being immune to stats. And then of course with Mega Sableye and Chansey, those mons also don't really care about stats to begin with because Chansey is natural cure and Mega Sableye has magic bounce, and they can't really deal stats themselves back to these ground mons. And even like Breloom, and also Breloom as well, Spore, it can't really, well, I guess the main switches are usually flying types, but it may not be able to Spore certain mons as well. So it's one of the things where he may need to play that around himself when playing around with Tapu Fini.
Yeah, you definitely have to think about when he sets up his terrain, especially with his Latios, because I think Draco Meteor is the most appealing thing about Latios' breaking power. Like you can drop a 130 stab move whenever you want to, but
yeah,
has to be careful with that. Having said that, the first four Pokemon offensively they work pretty well together. Your Mamoswine pressures a lot of Pokemon, and then the ones that aren't pressured by Mamo, Gren, and Latios can deal with. So it will be quite difficult to prep for this team defensively.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I don't really like Chansey and Sableye, but I think Data's picked them to add some more like just fatness to the team.
Yeah.
They're quite difficult to break on their own, and they will be annoying for sure.
Yeah, they're fine. I think they're okay mons in general. I just think, again, Fini maybe not ideal with Fini. Maybe I guess if you just don't really get statuses, maybe not them dealing stats not an issue. It's just to wall the mons.
Yeah.
I guess, but
yeah. I do also like the Nihilego pick on this team. Although Toxic Spikes are kind of nerfed from Misty Terrain, but other than that, I think it works well because you pressure the steals with Mamo and Moltres, and even Breloom can do that, and Latios will pressure steals just naturally by having them switch into it all the time. So that's definitely a nice pairing. The Breloom pick is a bit weird to me. It's not the most consistent Pokemon. Like you can only really bring it if it's got a good matchup.
Yeah, I can see it as being a matchup fish. As I said, it's an interesting one because I said Spore could be an issue, but usually a lot of switch-ins for Breloom are usually flying types to an extent, and they don't get to.
I mean, it could even have problems with proccing its Toxic Orb if it's not careful. If it's running poison here.
Yeah, if he wants to run that as well, that could be an issue. So yeah, you may not look to.
Yeah, as long as you
run that.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, it's like it's a solid. The team's got a solid defensive backbone, and the offensive threats can do bits when they need to. So
like I think the typing of Tapping is good. Useful.
Yeah.
It's just that ability could be taken. Maybe he considers running Telepathy a few weeks if he feels it's more of a hindrance to him than his opponent.
I know this is Data's sort of style where he likes to play with loads of bulky Pokemon, so I think it'll work well for him this season.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the 11th person, which is CMR and his San Antonio Spores. he has drafted Mega Gallade, Gliscor, Tapu Lele, Toxapex, Blissey, Blacephalon, Dracozolt, Tyranitar, Lurantis, Butterfree, and Kadabra. So this team, it starts off with a Mega Gallade Gliscor, which is nice, and then goes Tapu Lele, which I think Tapu Lele on its own as a Pokemon is fine, but if you're getting it for the Psychic Terrain for Gallade, I think that you lose a bit of value there. I don't think Gallade benefits that much from having Psychic Terrain up. But in any case, I think Lele, yeah, I mean, Lele's fine as a Pokemon on its own. It does what it needs to do.
Yeah, it's just that I guess the Zen Headball powering it up is nice, but at the same time, Glade usually isn't a preference for that. And also because if you want to run Shadow Sneak on Mega Glade, it doesn't usually like.
Or Hindi, yeah.
And it's not like I think as well. He's not a lot of his. Well, I guess like Blacephalon and Mega Gallade don't like a sucker punch, but like a lot of his mons aren't really that fast, or either don't really affected by Psychic Terrain attack. It really needs to be protected by priority because like Glasgow's levitating, so it's not protected by like Blissey.
Yeah.
Maybe Drake as well because of Sand Rush could be nice to have that priority. Maybe he's protected from priority.
Yeah.
And I think as well, one thing we looked at was just that he lacked his defog options on Ideal, just because it's like Gliscor, Lurantis, and Butterfree, and like those last two mons I mentioned probably aren't coming a lot. And Gliscor really ideally doesn't want to be running defog, so he could see hazards being an issue. Although it's not like a lot of his team really is weak to hazards per se, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in terms of he can run boots on Blissey and Cephalon because it's quite common.
Yeah, it just limits Gliscor's, what's it called? Like Swords Dance sets or Rock Polish sets, whatever it wants to run offensively. Because you're probably going to have to be putting defog on.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
I guess his other idea way is just.
I do like.
His other idea way is just to basically force his opponent to defog. By getting Rocks to the zone or getting like T-Spikes from Pex. Sort of force that from his opponent.
I do like his defensive core with Gliscor, Pex, Blissey, Tyranitar. I think it's quite difficult to break all four of those at once. So teams will definitely struggle against that. And then on top of that, you have to deal with Gallade, Lele, and Cephalon and Dracozolt, which in their own right are very strong offensively.
Yeah.
So I think the team definitely, like the top 6, or even the top 8, sorry, they can work quite well together. But the bottom 3, I'm not sure how much they'll ever be coming. Kadabra can maybe do like one game with a weird focus sash set or something. And Lurantis, maybe can come for like a better ground resist than Gliscor, but other than that, I really see like a rotation of the top 8 doing things.
Yeah.
I do also want to say that the Tyranitar with the Dracozolt's I think they're a good pairing together, because if people don't respect Sandrush, Dracozolt, then they could be in trouble.
Yeah. Because well, like if like
you might think that, yeah.
There's a Mega Gallade can struggle with some bulky walls as well, so Dracozolt can sort of alleviate with that to an extent, and then Trantar's nice.
Yeah, for
Trantar's
sure.
just nice just for the psychic types. Even though it doesn't really sharpen pursue it can still switch on them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do like this team offensively. Definitely has lots of options. Okay, we can move on to the number 10.
So number 10 is Slap, coach of the Ottawa Centauros, and his team consists of Tapu Koko, Victini, Zarude, Dragonite, Uxie, Seismitoad, Galarian, Slowbro, Type Null, Hariyama, Magnezone, and Mega Blastoise. And I think I like his sort of his top 4 mons offensive core between like Tapu Koko, Victini, Zarude, and Dragonite. I think they work out. Tapu Koko's Victini sort of can sort of is a nice pivoting core between each other. And then Zarude does help offensively as well.
Yeah, I do. They definitely form a good core. They've all got momentum, the first three at least, and definitely complement each other. I do like the Mega Blastoise at the very end, especially with Coco, and you've got the electric terrain, the terrain pulse and whatnot, and just Victini and Blastoise and Zaru, they all, Fire, Water, Grass, of course, all works nicely together. You pressure pressure most typings, which is really nice. I do want to say I don't understand why he got the triple psychic. I guess he just wanted to try Galarian Slowbro.
So it was more of a poison type.
Because you don't. Yeah,
it's more of a
you don't need
type.
the.
Yeah, the second psychic is the third psychic isn't necessary, I guess. But I think it more so features as his poison type.
Yeah, so I mean, if you probably won't have a game when you're bringing all three psychics with you, but it just means that Zarude is pressured more into being the Dark and the Ghost Switch, and has to pivot in more, not be as offensive as it would like to be in some matchups.
Yeah, I mean, he does have Hariyama to take in Darks as well as Hypno to take Ghost hits.
Yeah.
So he has that. I think the other thing as well that we know is his normal switch-ins aren't ideal because he sort of has his main steel type is a Magnezone, which does seem like an odd steel type to get, because it doesn't really help out, doesn't really provide the defensive utility that I would prefer from a steel type in this situation.
No, it's not a proper defensive steel.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be careful because you can use type null to probably blanket check some normal types, but there'll be something like a Chatot perhaps that could run through this team. So Slap must be careful.
Ah yes, the powerful Chatot. Certain people can tell you that Chatot is a powerful one.
Of course, of course. Yeah, I mean, even though this is like the 10th team, this is, I think, from like here and above, the teams they're all to a decent standard, and they could all go up like one or two spaces or down one or two spaces. Because this is a solid team. Like, you can bring the top 5 every week and then add whatever, like obviously Mega Blastoise as well. Like, that's a really hard team to deal with.
Yeah, the pivoting's really good on this team between top 3, Uxie and Magnezone and Mega Blastoise.
Yeah, with the flip turn as well.
Yeah, and of course type no and things. So it does have that going for us. I think it's just how he utilizes all these threats just to help out, just to sort of getting himself to good positions.
And then in matchups where he's struggling with the resist, you'll just have to out-offense them, I guess. Which you can do easily with Victini and Coco, which is nice.
Yeah.
A good option to have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go to the 9th team, which is Brandon's team and his Toronto Razor Leafs. He's drafted Mega, Diancie, Necrozma, Scizor, Conkeldurr, Crocodile, Rotom-Mow, Ordino, Noivern, Colossal, Delphox, Swalot, and Mantine, or Mantine, however you want to say it. I also like this team. I like the first few picks up to Rotom-Mow. I think they will work out quite nicely. And then, I'm not the biggest fan of Ordino. I know Brandon said he wanted to draft a P2, a Porygon, or a Miltank in that position, but he got sniped 2 times and ended up with Ordino. And then I like Noivern on this team as well, and the rest of the Pokemon, they have some sort of purpose. Maybe Swalot, not so much, but the other 3 can definitely be coming to some games.
Yeah, I think as I said, the first 6 ones are generally good overall. Mega Diancie gets support from like Necrozma and Crook to sort of deal with like the steals and the poisons that usually struggle, and technically Delphox as well, which actually could be quite a good one for this team, as surprising as it is. And as I said, Noivern is really nice as well. It provides that nice speed tier defogger, pairs well with a Mega Diancie, and it's a nice pivoting option as well.
Yeah, this team it definitely is built around Deontay nicely. You pressure the steals well, and you pressure like even fire types decently well. So I do think he supported Deontay, which is something obviously you want to do if you draft that Pokemon. I think the Necrozma's also supported decently well. It might be pushed into being like a fighting type resist a few weeks.
Yeah.
So I can't see Delphox doing much, or Mantine surviving against like Thunder Punching fightings. But other than that, you're free to use Necrozma to its fullest potential.
I think Necrozma does have a sort of free role because it sort of doesn't mind being defensive in the sense that you do have nice offensive resistance with Mega Nancy, Crocodile, and Conkeldurr, and then it can be obviously if your find up isn't like a huge deal, then you can sort of it can be offensive as well if necessary.
Yeah. I do like the Colossal pick also, because if you didn't get Colossal, you wouldn't have a proper flying resist, which could be a problem. I mean, you've got Mega Diancie, obviously, but once you've evolved, that's not going to do that much resisting.
Yeah, it was needed because
so it was smart to take that out.
Yeah, with the steel being Sizzle as well, he needed, and his electric being Rotomo, he needed another good flying resist, and Colossal does provide that.
Yeah.
As well as also.
And obviously, it provides you with.
Yeah, rocks.
Yeah, it's just got loads of hazards as well.
Yeah. It's really good utility.
Yeah. He might have trouble with some ground types, but I've heard that his schedule dodges mysteriously many of the good ground types, so he's got lucky in that regard.
What a surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was all for this team.
Yep. So we can go on to the next one, and next one is JJ Giles, coach of the DC Umbreons, and his team consists of Tornado Starion, Zeraora, Ferrothorn, Azumarill, Mega Heracross, Nidoqueen, Darmanitan, Larias, Spiritomb, and Shuckle. And surprisingly enough, for JJ team, it looks quite balanced. It's got that nice core of like Tornado Steel, Zeraora, and Mega Heracross just to sort of be annoying. You hit those fast threats with Tornado Steel, and Zeraora can just throw in quite a few minutes, and then Mega Heracross can sort of wall break quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I do. The pivoting on this team is pretty nice. You've got obviously the two you mentioned, Zera, Torn, and then Darmanitan can do it also. So offensively, they form quite a nice trio together. And then to complement that, you've got good hazards in Nidoqueen and Ferrothorn, which is good to see.
Yeah, he's got a nice defensive background to go with his team with Ferro, Nidoqueen, Larias, and if needed, Taunty can be more of a bulky pivot.
Yeah, so it will have to, because this team doesn't really have a ghost resist at all, because Spiritomb is neutral to it.
Yeah, Spiritomb takes ghost is neutral to go, so it's probably ideal would be to sort of use Torn or potentially Pharaoh, make them more specially bulky, and take ghosts, maybe Azu if he needs it.
Yeah. I do, the Shuckle does give him the webs option, but I'm not sure how. I mean, the team obviously benefits from webs like Heracross Darm, or like that, and Azumarill as well for belly drum shenanigans. But I don't really see many games where you're.
It could be nice for like choice scarf mons if you because obviously you see Zera Torn, you can sort of expect them, so it can be nice just to stop them from just working if you ideally, because obviously they're not really going to be switching on a knockoff, so it can be nice just to stop them from just setting up choice scarf, or even just setting up like an agility or go dragon dance. It can help with that.
Yeah. No, I think the team, the defensive backbone is really solid, and then offensively with the pivoting, it'll be quite difficult to get a grasp of this team. I do like Latias with Ferrothorn. even though it's not the biggest wish passer, it can do some things for Ferrothorn, which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all with his team, unless...
Yeah, I think so. That's fine. We can move on to the 7th team with Venno and his DC Dracloaks. He's drafted a Shifu Single Strike, Corviknight, Nidoking, Mega Slowbro, Raikou, Snorlax, Lycanroc Dusk, Center Scorch, Serena, Runerigus, and Wigglytuff. I do like the first 4 Pokemon. They form a nice defensive offensive core together. Slowbro with Nidoking and Urshifu is very powerful with the teleport, switching them in to Wall Break respectively. And then Raikou fits on the team more or less. It's a nice speed tier, good electric resist, flying resist to add on to, for that. And Snorlax, it's never going to be bad. When you pair it with a Slowbro, which is good fighting resist, that's always going to be nice. Then after that he gets Lycanroc Dusk, which I remember him saying that he shouldn't have picked. It's kind of splashed on here. It doesn't really serve too much of a purpose, but it's not a terrible Pokemon. It can do some sort of things on this team.
Yeah, the priority of Excel can be nice if there's a sort of like fast flying types that Mishifu may not handle quite well. So it's nice in that regard. Like it's good priority, I'd say, which is quite nice to have for Ishifu teams. Just sort of revenge kill stuff that would revenge kill it, basically.
Yeah, I think Center Scorch is nice on this team as well. Obviously with Boots and Flash Fire can cover for Corviknight's fire weakness, which is quite nice. I think it works.
Yeah.
Serena, when I first saw Serena, I wasn't quite sure if you'd be able to bring it to many games because, as in to bring it for your hazard removing purposes, because that's to compete with Corviknight and Slowbro as well for a ground resist. I'm not sure if you want Serena to bring it for ground resisting purposes, because Slowbro and Corviknight, between them, they should take on any ground type.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also, like I said, it's just nice to have more removal options to begin with, and then
it does give you the option.
Yeah, I think as well with Corviknight, if you want to like run bulk up, if you wanted to, you has that option just to do so, even if it can just easily run defog.
I mean, the team's not particularly weak to rocks or hazards outside of Center Scorch, which should be Boots most of the time anyway, so it's not the be-all and end-all. I do like the Runerigus pick as well. I thought the secondary ground is fine with Nidoking, and it's just natural bulk can cover quite a lot of offensive Pokemon.
Yeah.
That are like physically offensive Pokemon. And it gives him more hazards as well, which if you don't want to run them on Nidoking or Lycanroc, you can bring Runerigus instead.
Yeah. I think just that first 6 just looks really good because he has that nice offensive called Shifu and Nidoking, and that really good defensive called Corby, Mega Slow, and Snorlax. Which teams will probably find hard to break in general. And plus, as I said, both mons, Corby and Slowbro, just provide nice pivoting for Shifu and Nidoking.
Yeah, for sure. And his last pick is the Wigglytuff, which he got for the Fairy type, because otherwise he wouldn't have a Fairy type. It's only 2 points, I think, so it's good bang for your buck. So I think Wigglytuff is fine. It gets Wish too, which you can pass it into whatever bulky Pokemon you need to do. Okay, so we can move on to the 6th team.
Yes, we can.
Which is Flips. Yeah.
Yep. So 6 we have Flips, coaches Southampton Staraptors, and his mons consist of Mew, Megalopony, Landorus T, Gengar, Skarmory, Primarina, Drapion, Lantern, Tangela, Emboar, and Metang. I think the first thing that just hits at you is that first 4 he has just forms a really good core, because Megalopony and Gengar is really nice defensively, and then you have that versatility of Mew and Lando too, which just backs down really nicely, which you can even provide either defensive or potentially more offensive coverage for that. On top of that, he has nice hazards with Skarmory, and as well as Drapion, who can provide spikes, Toxtricks, and provide that nice dark typing as well. And then he has nice pivoting with like Primarina and Lantern, which also provides nice water resist and an Electromuni with the Lantern as well, which helps alleviate Landorus T from just needing to take it on Electrap itself.
Yeah. I think Mew, Lopunny, and Gengar, that's a ferocious offensive core. Lots of teams will struggle a lot to deal with those three in unison. Then round 3, Landorus T is really good value. I'm surprised it dropped to that low. And it's kind of like a glue one. It does everything you want it to do on this team. Like it does rocks and defog, so Mew doesn't have to do that. It can pivot, be offensive, defensive, etc.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just this like, well, essentially at least the first 8 Pokemons are really good, and the first 8 ones are so solid, just providing just nice pivoting, just nice options for overall. It's gonna be, I think this team just looks really good between them.
Yeah, I think Mew's been supported quite well. That's the main thing you want to do with a Mew, is make sure it's not pigeonholed into like defensive each week.
Yeah.
Because say even if you're fighting like a Mega Gallade, you've got Primarina and Lando and Skarmory, so you don't need to make your Mew defensive necessarily, which is good. Good option to have.
Yeah.
I do respect the Emboar pick he made. I think even though it's another fighting type and Lopunny's kind of got that covered, as a Pokemon itself, it's quite strong, and you have to respect it when prepping, because otherwise it can tear through certain defensive cores for sure. With it's got great coverage and very strong physical offense. So I do like that pick.
Yeah, I think it's probably more so for the fire typing than necessarily
for the fire
type.
Yeah.
Because obviously Megalopony is just better just because it has Scrappy, so he's always going to use it for that.
I would say it's just you don't really want to bring a steel type against this team, which is great for.
Yeah, it's great from you. It's not too. It's great, good for
Marina.
Yeah, Preen and Gengar as well. Well, in case it doesn't need to run focus path for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And even the Metang as the last pick to ensure that you don't lose to Tapu Lele is very respectable. Okay. Let's go to number 5, which is Granky and his Ho-Oh-Hos. He's got Dragapult, Melmetal, Mandibuzz, Reuniclus, Weezing, Terrakion, Mega Charizard, Y, Gligar, Blastoise, Quilladin, and Chatot. When I first saw this team, the first thing that jumped out to me was the Dragapult, Melmetal, Terrakion, Charizard. Just offensively, they sound very, very difficult to prep for. Like, you destroy steel types with Terrakion and Charizard, which opens up Melmetal freely. Dragapult's just a menace in general. Like, you kill all the darks and the normals with Terrakion. You pressure fairies with Charizard and Melmetal, so offensively this team's going to be very, very difficult to take on.
Yeah, and for Mega Charizard as well, he's got a lot of removal options like Mandy, Weezing, Gligar, and Blastoise. Well, I guess Chatot as well if you want to include that, but mostly just does for the first 4 I mentioned, just help in nicely. So I think it's a good team for Mega Charizard to be in as well.
Yeah, I think Charizard's quite underrated as well, so it'll be good to see it in action.
Yeah.
And then even we've talked about the offense, but the defense is equally strong. Mandibuzz is renowned for being defensive prowess and wheezing together with it. It's a nice core. And even like the cheap Pokemon with Gligar, Blastoise, Quilladin, you can take on a lot of other teams' offensive threats, which is nice.
Yeah, Quilladin, both Mandy can provide that. Mandy can provide that nice resist for Ghost and Dark for Dragon Ball, and then you have Quilladin, which can be a Shadow Ball resist of its own, and as well as Quilladin can help with spikes, which can be nice for the team.
The only other thing I would want. Sorry, you go ahead.
No, you continue.
I was gonna say the only other thing I would want on it is maybe like some more pivoting on your defensive Pokemon. Right now it's just Mandibuzz and Gligar if it comes, and I guess flip turn the Blastoise. But you just want to bring in these offensive Pokemon as much as you can, because that's how you're going to take the teams down.
Yeah.
Because you should be able to out offense most other drafts easily.
Yeah. I think another thing as well was that potentially he could struggle with potentially bulky waters, in the sense that his grass type is Quilladin, he doesn't really have an electric type, so he could potentially struggle with those. He does have a Mega Charizard, which does have Solar Beam, so maybe that could be his way. But his only other way besides that, just handling them, could be Uniclus with with its electric and grass coverage. Maybe going for that, but yeah, that could be one issue that you could find.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I think this team's perfectly good. It should do quite well.
Yeah.
Okay, we can move on then.
Yeah, we can move on to the next one, and that is Toxic, coach of the Big Dick Swanners, and this team consists of Deoxy Speed, Hydreigon, Heatran, Mega Beedrill, Swampert, Shifu Rapid, Togekiss, Amoonguss, Corsola, Galar, and Charizard. So I think the one thing I like about the team is how it's paired up well, how it's built well around Deoxy Speed. You got a nice hazards in Heatran and Swampert, and also Heatran, which can take help with some of the steel types that Deoxy Speed may struggle with. That doesn't have to run Focus Blast or Fire Punch. You have Hydreigon, which is a nice dark type to help out with those ghosts. The Sheaf Rabbit can also help out with those steel types as well. So yeah, I think it's a nice team that's just built around, hopefully around Deoxy Speed, which I like about this team.
Yeah, I think Mega B is also an excellent partner for it. Mega B also, obviously, it kills the Psychics and it can U-turn out the steals and chip them down. Obviously, bring in the threats, like you said, Heatran, Shifu. So that's really, really good offensively for the team.
Yeah, I think it's also just that he can be versatile with the team and choose which one he wants to still be the focal point. So like if you wanted to put Deoxy Speed as his main one, he can use the other one to support down, break up the other walls, or like if like maybe Shifu Rapid or Heatran or even Hydreigon was the focal point, he can just use Deoxy Speed as like sort of support one for that, essentially. So I think I like sort of that versatility he can play around with his team.
Yeah, I like the defensive Pokemon he drafted. I think Heatran, Togekiss, and Amoonguss together. You could Swampert too, and maybe Corsola Galar if you want to consider that. They complement each other quite well. I do like the Amoonguss because otherwise his water switch-ins would not be amazing.
Yeah,
I do think Amoonguss fits quite nicely onto this team. I'm not sure about his last two picks. I think they were both 5 points, Corsola and Charizard. You could maybe have taken an electric for extra flying resist and just more pivoting also. But
yeah,
Corsola gets rocks, which if you don't want to run it on Swampert and Heatran, you can do that. And Charizard, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it has a certain good matchup that I'm missing, or it's just a mascot pick or something.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just adding another defogger or potential room. Maybe could have cost something else, but it does provide that in essence. Or you really don't want to. Yeah, so just mainly provides that. I think also just the ghost typing it's nice just to give another fighting resist, because yeah, it just has another fighting resist and another normal resist.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think he could have drafted a normal type instead of maybe one of the last two to help with ghosts. So you don't have to run a bulky Hydreigon against them.
Yeah, that would probably help, especially with Deoxys speed as well.
Yeah, I mean you could probably get away with some Spadef, Togekiss, Mungus, or Heatran instead of Hydreigon, but to be safe, like a normal type in the back would have helped with that.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, I think everything else is fine. He should have a good season with Deoxys. Hopefully we see it do something for once.
Yeah, he's got some nice pivoting options as well. Should forget to mention with Mega Beedrill, Swampert, and Ishifu and Hydreigon.
Hydra as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to be bold, run a teleport Deoxys speed.
Yeah. Big brain time. Okay, we can move on now to number 3, which is Hunter and his Texan Trappers. He's drafted Zapdos, Mega Scizor, Dracovish, Infernape, Comfey, Alakazam, Roselia, Donphan, Aerodactyl, Alomomola, Illumise, and Regigigas. So this team, we're entering the top 3 now, so these are the top 3 best teams. We've got, I do like the Zapdos Mega Scizor partnership. That's really complement each other nicely defensively and offensively, and that's quite hard to break. Pairing that with the pivoting with Infernape also to bring in Dracovish. I think that's quite a despicable core, if I may say so myself. I think he took Comfey quite early, but I mean, it is what it is. It's not the worst fairy type in the world. And then Alakazam, added on to the offense previously mentioned, with its speed, is also very good. That definitely will force a lot of prep from other teams. He then takes Roselia around 7, which is, I think, really, really early. I guess he really wanted this Pokemon. It can support the team decently well. It gets up hazards, which is nice for all the Pokemon, and a Scald switching is always nice as well if you don't want, obviously you don't want your Dracovish switching into that. And then Donphan and Aerodactyl, he picks up his hazards here and his kind of his removal also. They actually, I mean, he's got removal everywhere even, but these are his 2 main hazards outside of Infernape, Stealth Rocks, which you don't really want to run. And I mean they do an alright job at getting hazards up. I think you can bring either one to a game and they will do what they need to do. Next gets Alomomola, which when I first saw this team, I thought this doesn't fit the team too well because I feel like it's really passive, and you maybe would have benefited from a Vaporeon better, so you at least have the baton pass or the flip turn option. I think Vaporeon's undrafted also.
Yeah,
So could potentially make that change, because I mean Alomomola it is a momentum sap, so like it just sits there, does a wish, and then switches out. But
yeah, you can just pass that wish on while also regenerating. So it's just meant to just take hits and just try and get that wish up essentially to the other mons.
Yeah, I mean you're only going to be, most of your Pokemon have recovery anyway outside of Donphan really. And I guess Dracovish, but yeah.
I just think with just this type of team, it seems like a team that you don't want to take on, because it just looks annoying to face. Because as I said, he has that defense essentially with like Zapdos, Mega Scizor, Alomomola, which would literally like just pivot around, recover, Alomomola, Wish Pass into each other, and then on top of the fact that he does have hazards with Roselia and Donphan, which can and Stealth Rocks, which can be quite annoying just to switch around, which could, because the team does force a lot of switching around, which could be not ideal. And if he can just play his cards right and he gets a switch to Fish or Infernape, that is something you don't want to have, because if the matchup is good for Dracovish, then it could be a case that Dracovish could get a kill or 2 a game. So it's just one of those things where while it does look like a weird team on paper, it does. I think when you have a good look at it again, it just is one of those teams that just could be annoying to face, and just you're gonna have to make the right moves or make
the aggressive switch-ins just to even get a chance of beating it. And even then, that could just be he can just switch in like between the defensive core just to alleviate that.
Yeah, I think this team would have been ranked higher if it was not for the Ghost Resist being Regigigas, because that means you kind of have to bring it every time the opponent has a Ghost type, because otherwise they will just sit in front of your team and shadow ball you to death.
Yeah.
So I do think that's kind of a hindrance. Like a dark type, like a strong dark type would have been preferred.
Essentially as well, your Psychic Resist is...
somewhere.
Well, I guess it's Mega Sizzle, but if they have Mystical Fire, it may not be ideal. They could potentially run like
Yes,
Calm
the
Mind.
Psychics with Mystical Fire, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
and
very dangerous.
Even just you can just run Mono Store Power to potentially hit this.
Yeah, a dark type would definitely benefit the team a lot. I mean, yeah. I do think also that the Dracovish was taken quite early as well. Like round 3, you can, unless you really wanted to use it, you can definitely sit on that and get more value out of the pick.
Yeah.
The round 3 pick.
I get that. Fair enough. I think a lot of his team does feature mons which he gets early, but it could just be he just won these mons and just got them only because he wanted to try them.
Yeah.
And at the end, his last layer picks are still fine as is, so he gets what he wants, like what he just wants, and then he still able to fulfill the roles of his team later on.
Okay. Let's move on to the second team.
And this team is the Barcelona Bagons, coached by Ice, and his team consists of Mega Morale, Rillaboom, Cinderace, Milotic, Thundurus Incarnate, Miltank, Zygarde 50%, Cresselia, Skuntank, Avalugg, and Galarian Rapidash. And the main thing you just see is just that first three, a nice offensive core between Mega Maw, Rillaboom, Cinderace. You have Rillaboom, which just provides that nice grass to train to the other two mons, Cinderace, which is a nice fast pivot. On top of Rillaboom's pivoting skills on, of course, Mega Maw just to start the show with its breaking as well. And then the next 5 mons just also appreciate Mallow provides that nice glue, nice glue mon which has recover and flip turn again to pivot. Thundurus Incarnate, which is another nice fast taunt, again U-turn, Volt Switch, just to scare any physical mons with it, any physical walls that Mega Maw doesn't like Celesteela as well, that it can just weaken that down. Miltank, which can be a nice defensive core, and there's a Zygarde, which just provides, again, with working with Rillaboom just because it has Downs and Arrows. So I think his team just looks incredible offensively.
Yeah, and even defensively, it's going to be quite tough to break past because the Pokemon themselves are bulky, Mega Mawile, Rillaboom to an extent, and then Milotic, Miltank, Zygarde, Cresselia sounds, I mean even Avalugg as well, sounds quite aids to break through. Like you've got a Cleric and Miltank too, so you can't just beat Toxicking Cresselia or Zygarde to try and beat them.
Yeah. No, ideally as well, Mallow can just run Flame Orb just to stop you from doing that, and Zygarde could sub up, so it's again just not ideal.
Yeah.
To do so. I guess the one weakness you can see, well, a couple of weaknesses, is hazards aren't the best. He's looking at rocks and Mega Maw and Miltank. Mega Maw really doesn't really want to run rocks, so Miltank is probably going to be his main stealth rock option, and then his removal is mainly Court Change with Cinderace or like Defog with Thundurus and like Skuntank and Avalugg, so he could be that, but obviously only one thing that does fix that is Court Change, which can only get rid of hazards but also bring the hazards to your opponent. So if you can sort of utilize that to help, so that could be his main thing. But I think overall, like usually Mega Maw just breaks enough that like hazards aren't necessarily as needed, I guess, to break a lot of stuff because it has done that much checks to begin with.
Yeah.
And most of his checks do be steel types, which is resist anyway, which aren't really taking much. In terms of stealth rocks, it is.
Yeah. I think obviously getting Zygarde so late, it's really very valuable to this team because it just adds another layer that you have to prepare for. Because even if you are able to prepare for a Mawile, then you've got Thundurus, Cinderace, Zygarde, Rillaboom on top of that, and that's going to be really oppressive. So this team should have no problem getting through or like breaking through defensive teams.
Yeah, I think it's just as what I said. Like, you bring a Steel type from Mega Mall, you have to contend with Cinderace or Zygarde, as you said, just to take it on. So again, it's just not ideal.
Yeah, I do like that he got the second fairy with Galarian Rapidash, even though it's not a defensive fairy type, but it will it's got a decent speed through, and it can come to certain matchups where you want to make dragons go away. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's nice to just get with Mega Mall or just get secondary fairy or Steel.
And also, it gives extra Healing Wish support if you don't want to Lunar Dance with your Cresselia. That just gives like another life to one of your 5 broken offensive Pokemon.
Yeah, I think I said Lunar Dance and Healing Wish. It could be really good just to play with. It could be nice just to throw those up to nice defense ones just to bring them back, and then just sweep it again with them.
And moving on to our first seed, we have Daniel and his Toronto Luxrays. He has drafted Landoi, Clefable, Mega Medicham, Weavile, Rotom Heat, Empoleon, Licky, Mismagius, Chesnaught, and Dragalge. First of all, Landoi and Weavile is a renowned core, which is very, very good, and he's paired that with Mega Medicham, which makes it even stronger. So that this offensively, they're very, very hard to deal with. And then pairing that with the Clefable also, which can just be a demon in its own right, makes the top 4 very, very threatening. And then he's drafted a Rotom Heat with that, which I think is also very good. It helps break down steel types, specifically like the weird steel types that Lando can't get through, like a Celesteela or Skarmory, Corviknight, etc. And then he's got Empoleon, which is nice for extra hazards and defogging, although it doesn't resist fire, which could be a bit of an issue, seeing as the early fire resists are Rotom and Dragalge, but they should be able to muscle past most fires, and if not, Clefable and Licky can blanket check a lot of them.
Yeah.
Licky's nice for the, obviously, ghost immunity and just passing wishes around to Empoleon, Dragalge, Rotom, Chesnaught.
It's just another wish pass. Yes, it's another wish pass.
It's nice that Clef doesn't have to wish pass. Yeah.
I think as well the pivoting is just really good in this team. He's got the teleport with Clefable, the Volt switching with Rotom, Flip Turn with Dragalge, which is nice to bring in like the Landorus, Mega Medi, and Weavile in consistently. And it's just the main reason I just like this team is just that it just goes well with Landorus Eye, just to optimize it and just allow it to help sweep while also alleviate its weaknesses, essentially. And I said a lot of all these ones just look good, and does play a role in this team. Doesn't seem like it doesn't fit the team at all. It does. They do provide it. Like each member provides a really good role for the team, and can help with any sort of weakness.
Yeah, I mean you can bring every Pokemon to each game comfortably. They should be able to handle things. Yeah.
So I think it's just adding what I said, the offensive.
Yeah.
Defensive synergy. This team provides Landorus as well with Mega Medi, Weavile, Rotom Heat, and Dragalge. It's just solid. And then you have the offensive backbone with Clefable, Empoleon, Licky, and Chesnaught. Just to alleviate weaknesses.
He's got nice hazard support as well for his whole team, with obviously Toxic Spikes, Triage, and just spikes on Chesnaught, and then the 2 rockers as well, or the 3 rockers even.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's everything we wanted to say on this team.
Yep.
So that brings us to the end of our Poison Point Season 8 post-draft power rankings. If you have any issues about your placements or anything, please DM Chesben.
Or DM has.
He'll be able to...
Or
DM has as well. They'll be able to help you.
They were the ones that made the rankings, definitely not us. So if you have any complaints, DM them.
They'll be able to help you out in any way whatsoever. And apart from that, that is all from me and Palkia. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This has been an ordeal for 2 hours nearly, and I'm very glad this is over. So the next team is the third team with Hunter and his Texan Trappers. He drafted Celesteela, Slowking, Galar, Como-O.
It's the wrong team. This is PCC's team. Yeah.
Is it? Oh, good gravy. Where is Hunter's team? How is this possible? No, I want to cry. What is Hunter's team meant to be? Oh my fucking fuck. Where the fuck is his team? No. No. I want to cry. What? Oh my days. Then we can move on to our final team, which are the Toronto Lux Race, coached by Daniel. And his team is Garchomp, Rotom
the wrong
Wash.
team again. Oh my goodness.
No, it's not the right team.
No,
Oh
this is Glob's
my,
team.
what the fuck? Why? Why? What is Daniel's team?
It's the Landers team.
Where the fuck did all these shits go, man? Oh my god. Oh.
So now one for the blue for
Where
real.
did they go though? Yeah, but where the fuck did they go? Oh my days. Please. Oh my god, it's here. Okay. I can't believe I saved over 2 different ones. How is that?
There we go.
Okay.
You haven't put a number. You haven't put the one in front of Daniel.
Oh my days. Oh, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna write it in. It's just gonna be written in right here. 1. You know what? I'll just put a king. I'll just put a picture of a crown or something. Blooper reel's gonna be longer than the actual thing. Oh, maybe I can. Oh, I've got an idea. I can just take the 1 from the 16 and just look at that.
No. You're not
Look
alone.
at that. Look at that. Okay, that looks professional.